It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good morning, Thursday morning, August the 15th. Very glad to be with you for the next few hours on the show today. Lots of great crap. Just take my word for it. Look, at 7:50, we're giving away Metallica tickets, okay? So back off.
Good stuff.
Actually, no one's in my face. I don't know who I'm telling to back off. Sorry about that. I'm a little on edge.
That's all right. You charge it into the day. I like the intensity.
Shoulder to the wheel. Let's do it here to get your day off on the right foot. Your top 5 at 6. 5 things we think are worth mentioning at the top of the show. Number 1, or I should say number 5 on the top 5, the Los Angeles. What is with me? The Las Vegas Sphere. Yeah. The new venue, newish, year and a half, whatever, however long it's been open, a year old, the Sphere, which I know a lot of people think, what does that have to do with me? No, we're all going to get there eventually. It's the new mecca for music fans. We will all make the trip eventually. Someone's going to book a gig at the Sphere, and there's not a single one of us who's not going to go, oh my, I got to go.
I think I'm going to go.
The Sphere, and I think it's, for that reason alone, I do think this is good news. They have finally posted a profit in their fourth quarter. They are saying, hey, we posted a revenue of $273 million, a little higher than estimates. That's bigger than anybody expected. That's way bigger than I would have thought. Thanks to Dead & Company, who put a 30-show residency up there, and the Eagles now about to kick off a 20-show residency. I think the future looks good for the Sphere, and as I said, for all of us music freaks in the world, it looks good for all of us.
The Deadheads do have a couple of bucks. Deadhead sticker on a Cadillac right into Don Henley's Eagles show. So, yeah, the Boomers and the Gen Xers coughing up some bucks to go to the Sphere. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't think for the Eagles run I would go, but just keep bringing in the big acts, and eventually I'll make it a Vegas weekend.
Yeah, I don't know who it's going to be, but there is going to be a day, and I'm just going to go, oh, crap, and go get online and book some flights and call people, hey, you still got that condo in Vegas? You know, well, I guess I'm paying for a hotel. We're all going to do it. It's just a matter of time. Speaking of it's just a matter of time, number 4 on your top 5 at 6, Gen Xers, that's us, Ryder, present company excluded. That's you and me.
Yeah.
Tony, you're a Gen Xer, borderline Gen Xer, I reckon.
I'm a borderline. Yeah.
You're a borderliner. Apparently, there is a rapidly changing age-related molecule that we all have. But Gen Xers right now are in the mix of it. Science basically has said there's 2 times in your life when rapidly changing age-related molecules get all frisky and in your face, and you notice them. The first is around the age of 44. The second time, 60. Boy, that's dead straight ahead for me.
Yeah.
I'm a year and 2 days away from that bad boy.
So what happens when we turn 60?
When you turn 60, notable
adult diapers.
Notable changes were observed in molecules relating to immune regulation, kidney function, and the metabolism of carbohydrates.
Blah blah blah. I'll drink my way through it. All right, so there's nothing we can do about it, right? It's hardwired in.
There's nothing you can do about it. You can change your diet. You can stop, you can limit your carbs. You can pay more attention to your kidneys, drink a lot more water, I suppose.
Well, who wants to do that?
No, I'm going to think about doing all that stuff, though.
Yeah.
Not this guy. Anyway, sorry, my fellow brethren and sisterin Gen Xers. It's all over but the shout. Number 3 on the top 5 at 6. Oh, great. Another massive data breach. Hackers claim to have accessed everybody's social security number and addresses. Yeah, not everybody who has AT&T or Verizon or who goes to Costco. Literally everybody has been hacked now, apparently.
I feel relief. Now I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's out there. Let's just move on and wait for the big hack.
So we can knock it off with the passwords and all of those phishing things from corporate and stuff. The info's out there. Let's just be done with it.
They've got it already. So
it's like Paul Westerberg wrote about this years ago. You be me for a while, and I'll be you. We're just all swapping identities, left, right, and center.
I could use a new social security number.
It's a hacking group called USDOD, and they claim they have stolen literally 2.7 billion records from the national public data. Wow. Having been hacked and co-opted and my identity stolen in 2016, I'm like, yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, no, I had somebody on my phone the other day threatening to, I forget what it was. They had my bank account information.
Yeah, that was not cool.
Yeah, but they did not have it. I mean, that showed that they had.
Looked like they had it.
And they had the last 4, which you always have to fill in somewhere. Yeah. And then a whole bunch of transactions that I may or may not have done. A screenshot of that they sent to me and said, would you like us to release this to the public? Yes or no? I'm like, delete, report as junk. And then quickly another text followed that saying, don't mess with me. I'm being serious. Delete, report as drunk. Yeah, this was like this was on Monday. I was telling Steve about it.
Don't mess with me. Did he give a name?
Yeah, no, it was some odd number with different area codes of Fast and Furious coming into my phone. I just have to stay off those naughty websites, I guess. No, but I mean initially I was freaked out, and now it's like, okay, whatever. Good luck with my social security number. Let's see what you can get done with that.
Let's go. Number 2 on the top 5 at 6. The cool kids in the summer of '82 were like, yeah, E.T.'s fine, but Poltergeist is really what it's all about. That's what the cool kids were saying. Well, at least I was, and I'd like to think I was kind of cool. Poltergeist in 1982, despite what Ryder might tell you about the special effects holding up now, was incredible.
Oh,
it was mind-blowing.
It was actually even scary.
Yes.
It was kind of scary. It kind of freaked us out. Now I look back on it, it's a bit cartoonish.
Seriously, I didn't look at blonde short women the same for 10 years. It freaked me out, that movie. No, but the reason we're mentioning it, the home from the Poltergeist movies is on the market. It is listed in Los Angeles. 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, swimming pool, jacuzzi, $1.174 million, which means it's farther away from town than I would have imagined. It's way out in the valley somewhere, I guess.
And the first time the word MILF was ever uttered was their name Mary Jo Beth Williams, the mom, and in the football jersey there at the end, getting pulled into the pool. Yeah.
Well, that's impressive.
Yeah,
I thought that was an American Pie thing.
No, before that, moms were just fuddy-duddies. After she put on that and then went into the pool, then all of a sudden we're like, hey, MILF.
What do you know about that?
I just made that up, but that's what I'm thinking about.
Well, I mean, maybe it wasn't officially coined at that time, but it was the concept. The seeds were planted.
Yeah.
Hey, Shakopee, good morning. Shakopee is a big rock town.
Yeah, I love Shakopee.
They shock me in Shakopee. Ace Frehley loves being in Shakopee.
Yeah, he does.
Good morning, Shakopee. Thanks for being with us on the KQ Morning Show. No shortage of Vikings fans in Shakopee, which leads me to number 1 on your top 5 at 6. I toured with a band called Stereophonics for a year, Welsh rock band. Great band. They have a wonderful song called Hurry Up and Wait, or as I call it, the theme song of the Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy, your first-round draft pick, your national champion quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines. The future just got put off by 12 months. He did have meniscus surgery. It was a full repair. He will not play football this year. The Sam Darnold camp could not be reached for comment because they're getting drunk and celebrating. Confetti is flying, champagne corks. Look out. It is Sam Darnold's Minnesota Vikings.
For now. I mean, if Sam doesn't step up, if his career continues on like it has been and he's not able to resurrect something, it'll turn into another quarterback contract. Kind of like a mess like last year. They'll be just juggling quarterbacks. But, Coach O'Connell and the staff have a year of that under their belt. They have some experience with this. Yeah. So go get them, team.
All you got to do is go on Uber and call a ride and hope that Josh Dobbs shows up to pick you up and then go, hey, dude, remember the plays?
Remember the Pastronaut? Still have my T-shirt. The ESPN guys were pretty high on Darnold. They still think there's some potential there. And, because we've got a pretty awesome offensive line. We've got
I do have to say, quarterbacks more than any other position in any other sport, it's all about where you go, who coaches you, who knows what you're good at. Yes, maybe. Yeah. Darnold's obviously not a hack, but we've never seen him do anything other than just be a guy.
Enjoy your lemonade this morning.
Whoo, baby. When you think back to the coolest thing you and your dad ever did when you were a kid, hey, Dad, let's spend the day together. I mean, a handful of occasions, me and my dad, he'd go to the pool and he'd pick us up and throw us. That was kind of fun. I'm looking back, I'm trying to think, was there ever a day when me and my dad, when we tell the story, $25,000 cash was a part of the story?
What?
Not for me, but there is a dad and a kid that can tell that story. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good morning, Thursday, August the 15th. Listen to the talking heads burning down the house. Remember last year, everybody was like, I think they're going to get back together. I think they're going to get back together because the movie came out and they re-released it. And it's like, yeah, they're all 75. They're not getting back together.
You'd think, what did they offer them? Like $80 million?
That money's been on the table for 35 years. Hey, you know what else? Speaking of money on the table, there's a thing in Utah, in Salt Lake, around the Salt Lake City area every summer, the Utah Treasure Hunt, an annual summer tradition. A riddle was provided as map to the treasure, and then anybody who's interested apparently just gets out and they start looking for treasure. There's something somewhere out there. It was started in 2020. And as I said, there's always a riddle, and then weekly clues come in, and then people crack the case and figure out where the treasure is going to be. This year, it was all in the first clue anyway was in Spanish, which just means you got to open up that app and pretend you know how to speak
Translate.
Spanish. And so, but this time around, a guy and his son, Damon Johnson, and his 8-year-old son, Ty, were like, hey, let's do this. Let's see if we can find this sucker
son.
out.
Yeah.
He said they obsessed over it a bunch, and then they have to take a break and leave it for a week or so and come back. Well, anyway, long story short, Pleasant Grove on Friday, it's about 35 miles south of Salt Lake City. Dude and his 8-year-old son are searching, and bang, they see 15 or 16 other people in the same area following the same clues, coming up with the same sort of, we feel like we're closing in here. And then all of a sudden, there it is. They're like, holy crap, is that what I think it is? There's a rock, it's covered by a bush, and we pull it away, and all of a sudden, there's a little treasure chest that had been buried. They open it up, and they find $25,000 in cash.
Holy crap. Yeah. Jackpot. Here they are.
It still feels like a dream.
They had posted a picture of the rock when we came around a bush when we were looking for it, and I saw the rock.
Calm down, Dad.
Dad sounds like Beavis and Butthead.
Took a picture of the rock of the bush.
Came around a bush when we were looking for it, and I saw the rock.
Looks like a butt.
He said bush.
He said bush.
Cha-cha-cha.
I saw the bush, and then the rock was hard, like rock hard.
There must be something about doing this during the extremes of the year. I have friends out in Salt Lake City. I know it's been triple digits out there this summer, so they're sweating it out. So I'm thinking of the St. Paul Winter Carnival medallion.
The medallion hunt,
in the dead of winter.
Yeah.
Really, a couple of years ago, these guys had been looking since the two buddies. They just go out, good old boys from Minnesota, and they've been looking since 1990. So, I don't know, 20, 30 some years later, they finally found it.
In my heart, I knew I found it, and I told Tony, look down at my hole, and his eyes lit up. And since then, it's just been a whirlwind of amazement going on right now with all you people and hundreds of people around us. And I've been hunting since 1990.
90. That was 2 or 3 years ago. I forget exactly where, but Tony looked down at my hole.
And loved it.
I knew I found it, and I told Tony, look down at my hole.
7th, maybe 8th grade, I found a $20 bill. And I looked around for 5 minutes, assuming it was a plant.
Yeah.
It was let's see if he takes the money or turns it in. You know, it was one of those things.
Yeah.
And then stuck it in my pocket and casually went about my business. And I'm prepared to tell anyone who approached me, I was going to turn it in. I just didn't want to lose it. and no one ever did. No one ever nothing ever came of it. But I didn't spend it for like a week. I was like, this is that found money. They marked it. They know. I was completely convinced it was a setup.
You have to wait like 6 months before you can start spending
That's what it was.
Where'd Steve get all that money?
It was my personal Lufthansa heist.
I'll tell you, I got excited on Monday when I got some family coming into town this weekend, so I'm forced to do some cleaning around the pad. I found a 20. I was very excited. Yeah. Exactly. Burning a hole in my pocket right now.
Yeah, that is nice, man. There's nothing better. But $25,000 when you're 8 years old, that wouldn't have made any sense to me.
I love that they actually put the money in there, you know, like a lot of these, it'll be a certificate saying, congratulations, you won, and contact us and you win. But yeah, I mean, that's open it up to just see the the booty right there.
I get the feeling that if that had been me and my dad, I would have gone, Dad, look. And he would have gone, Shh, this is between you and me.
Don't tell your mom.
Hand me the case. Hey, KQ up north and Hoffman Weber Construction. How about that? October 3rd through the 6th, we're all going to be up at Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. Join us, won't you, for a broadcast of the KQ Morning Show. We're going to have a karaoke party. We're going to have a dinner cruise, live music, and a lot more with the KQ crew. Book your stay right now, or as our French friends would say, maintenant. How about a quick look back?
Speak into the mic, bitch.
Wow, easy, Tony. On this day, August 15th, 1975, Earl Weaver, manager of the Baltimore Orioles, a man who was ejected from over 90 games in his career, went for the twofer. He was ejected from both games of a doubleheader at home against the Texas Rangers. In fact, umpire Ron Luciano ejected Weaver from the second game before the first pitch was thrown. They were arguing during the lineup card exchange. Earl is as good as it ever got. Oh, by the way, in case you were unaware, Earl Weaver used to have a radio show where people could phone in or they would write in questions, and along with a member of the Orioles broadcasting team, he would then answer questions from fans. Here's a quick sample.
Well, Bill Whitehouse from Frederick, Maryland, wants to know why you and the Orioles don't go out and get some more team speed.
Team speed, for Christ's sake. You get goddamn little fleas on the bases, getting picked off, trying to steal, getting thrown out, taking runs away from you. You get them big that can hit the ball out the ballpark, and you can't make any mistake.
I can't believe he got thrown out of 90 games.
What kind?
Would have thought it was 690. A crazy, horrible day in this day in 1989. I imagine a lot of people remember. In his second start after completing treatment for cancer, Giants pitcher Dave Dravecki, while throwing a pitch to Tim Raines, broke his left arm and fell on the field in pain. He never pitched again and ultimately lost that arm. He recovered fully. He's still with us. Dave Dravecki is doing very well. But at the time, it was just one of those, the whole baseball world stopped for a little while.
Yeah.
And I remember, clearly, before Twitter, before social media, before anything, before the internet, that highlight was shown so many times, and it's horrible. It was like, why? Stop showing it. What are we doing here? It's one of those weird things. Like the CNN sports guys, they were showing it all the time. It was like, yeah, enough already.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Thursday, August 15th. Good morning. Edgar Winter's Free Ride. When I take over, I'll be captaining Ye Old Mill, and that's the first song I'm going to play, and it's going to go way faster than you're expecting. So look out. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, put an outboard on those bad
Come on,
boys.
man. It's fun. It's legendary, but let's pick up the pace a little.
I'll race you to the other side.
Yeah, come on. Free ride, slow ride, all the old hits I want to hear when I'm at the fair racing something really fast. It is the KQ Morning Show. On the show today at 7:50, which according to my calculations is a little less than 1 hour from right now, we're going to play a game with a couple of listeners, and the winner of that game will receive, wait for it, Metallica tickets.
Crepes.
Nice.
Yeah, crepes indeed. Or as the French say, crepes. At 9:25, John Bush, a comedian of note, will be with us in studio. He's a very funny gentleman. So we got a lot going on ahead of us. That's just kind of how we roll. That's what we like to do around here. I get up early every morning. I wake up. First thing that happens, whether it's my alarm or just me waking up, Chauncey Gorman, my dog, is like, oh, cool, thanks, I've been waiting. And he just runs downstairs to the door. Because the first thing I got to do is walk outside and take him. And it has crossed my mind at times. I'm like, no one's out there. I'm just wearing like a pair of shorts maybe. And I'm like, I don't need to put on a shirt. I don't need a robe. Who cares? It's 3 a.m. It's 3:30 a.m. Yeah. And I walk him out and nothing ever comes of it. It's never occurred to me, though, to go out completely naked to walk the dog. And I've spent a little bit of time in public nude late at night, like, I got to get the trash can down to the curb, and I'm hammered, but whatever. Who's going to notice? That happened once.
Au naturel. I've done it in the undies before, but not au naturel.
Yeah, Rosemary's version of that story is way better because, frankly, I don't even remember it. But here's the point. I'm not one who's like, I don't need the button-down repressive rules of society to guide me. You know what I'm saying?
No way, man.
I'm a bathrobe guy. I always have a robe. I've never in my life, even like as a broke college kid, I had a bathrobe.
Yeah.
Because you just put it on. That's all you need sometimes. And I'll walk the dog in the rope just out. I don't take him for a neighborhood walk, but I let him out to do his business.
Not a windy day.
Yeah, well, not a windy day. Well, some days, yeah, sure. It depends on the time. Anyway, the whole point is this. There's a dude in San Antonio, Texas, in a very nice, quiet neighborhood who's been walking his dog daylight hours completely naked as of late. And neighbors have had to call the police a few times. And apparently, not only is he naked, the dog doesn't have a leash. So, all hell's breaking loose down in San Antonio. No, but there's news reports coming out of Texas. Dude is walking around, and by the way, not necessarily not what you'd call a guy in great shape.
No,
he's not. No. He's not like proudly showing off the guns.
No,
he's not saying. He's not saying, look at this six-pack. He's saying, I've been going through a lot of six-packs.
I haven't seen the frontal, but you may not be able to see his tool even. That's how large this guy is. Walking down the street, some neighbors checking in.
It was just true concern of, was he okay? The other gentleman that stopped him on the street as well said, hey, are you aware you don't have pants on? Yeah, no big deal. Just keeps on going.
Authorities tell us the man was high on mushrooms. Police gave him and his dog a courtesy ride home.
If that's what drugs cause, then let's not do it.
Yeah, pray.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Walking his
dog. Have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
It's funny you say, he hasn't seen his own front office. It's just a rumor at this point that it's still there. He's a big fella. I've seen and had some weird thoughts on mushrooms myself, but at no point did I think, let me go nude in public and walk down the street with my dog.
We were on vacation recently, just last week, and I was way out of state when I ate some mushrooms, decided to jump off some stuff and eat some mushrooms. Not once did I think about taking my clothes off. I don't know where all these weird trips come from. I don't think I'm getting the most out of my mushroom experience.
Well, there's always tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess.
This is great news. I'm glad to know.
I feel less like taking my clothes off when I'm on mushrooms. It's like,
no. I'm going to sit back and do some thinking and and just laugh at how weird the stuff I laugh at my normal self.
Right.
When and that's been a while for me. To be totally fair. In fact, I don't think I've done anything. I don't think I've done any tripping since the 90s. I think since I had the kids were born. I thought I just don't have 12 hours to possibly not be available,
right.
Although they're at an age now where they could probably handle whatever comes up. So what I'm saying is, hey, my birthday's coming up this weekend. Maybe it's time to go trip ball. Thinking out loud is what this is called. I do remember one time on shrooms, a member of my band's touring staff, it was his first ever mushroom trip. And at one point he was kind of breathing hard and everyone's like, hey, man, are you okay? And he's looking at his hands, and he's going back and forth, turning them tops, bottoms. Yeah. And he goes, all I see is thumbs. He had 10 thumbs.
Wow, these people are really getting the max out of this. What is it, cybacillin? What do they call it, the psilocybin?
Man, that's pretty good stuff right there.
That's good.
I wonder if this guy saw 10 frontal digits. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe he thought he was, dressed in a nice seersucker suit walking down the street.
I like this story better before I knew he was on mushrooms.
Right.
It was just like, it's hot, screw it. What do I care?
Yeah.
Speaking of bizarre animal stories, did you hear about the Apple Valley Zoo? The Minnesota Zoo in Apple Valley, I should say. Last week, there was, they have an animal there, a Eurasian eagle owl. And there was an open-air training session, and the eagle owl flew away from its handler. And it's supposed to come back to its handler. It's supposed to, hey, you go fly, and then you'll come back here. I'm sorry, this story just came out a few days ago, but the incident took place back in April. A spokesperson for the zoo said the owl was in the beginning stages of its training. So they're just teaching this thing how to leave and come back and leave and come back. But unfortunately, the owl did not come back to its handler. It flew over to check out what was going on in the tiger enclosure.
Oh, man. Hey, buddy.
Yeah. And what happened, oddly enough, was it was eaten by a tiger.
That's
did it leap into the air?
I don't know if the tiger leapt.
That'd be cool.
From the sound of it, this owl basically just flew over and landed right in front of him and said, "See anything you like?" I mean, I think that's kind of what this was.
Right. Yeah. You'd think there'd be some sort of precaution during training the owl that perhaps it wouldn't be able to. But, that's not all owls were meant to be trained, I guess. I
guess not, man. Fly free. He lived free. He died free.
That's...
I always wonder about that. I don't know if I've ever been to a zoo where I haven't thought about what if the animals got out? Who would reign supreme? Yeah. What would happen at the end of this? The owl going right over to the tiger. I saw. I was at a zoo once and watched two tigers. I watched tigers mate from a distance of just a few feet. Cool. And it was kind of weird. I felt like a voyeur. Like I felt a little odd watching it. Like, shouldn't this be a private moment? But then when the male finished, he loudly announced that in a roar that literally split the earth. You've never heard anything louder in your life.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, that was good, huh?
It's a good release. Was that good for you?
I've seen the snow monkeys do it at the Minnesota Zoo.
Oh, I've seen the snow. It was adult night at the zoo. Yeah, they were like showing off for the crowd. It was just one after the other.
Oh, the snow monkeys know not to do that when the kids are there. Yeah. Adult night, though, forget it.
Game on.
That's why you take the kids there, like birds and the bees. Here's what mom and dad don't let you see.
Now, back to these snow monkeys. I mean, are these guys like monogamous, or is this just a group endeavor? What's happening over there?
Frickin' snow monkeys, a bunch of immoral, frickin'.
It seemed to be a free-for-all. There didn't seem to be any restrictions on what was happening.
No, they're monkeys.
Look, I mean, I've seen snow monkeys, and I'll just come out and say it. I can't tell them apart. I don't think they care either.
No, they can't. Like, any hole in a storm.
Yeah.
You guys remember back in 2014, 15, whatever it was, that 500-pound gorilla escaped from Como Zoo?
No.
Now, I had taken my daughter over there many years earlier, but it was like a 15-year-old gorilla. And he was in there, and he charged the glass when we were in there and slams up against the glass. And
really?
I jumped back like 3 feet. And
I think his name was Casey.
Was it Casey?
I think so.
Yeah, and so I jumped back, and I thought, okay, wow, this guy's, well, thank God that there's a big piece of glass between myself and my child. He would have ripped us to pieces. He had that look in his eye. Then he escapes in St. Paul. Over in the Como Park, and he's just running around. I thought, that gorilla is out? Boys and girls, run for the hills. Get every tranquilizer dart you have.
I got to think at the time that was national news. I'm surprised I missed it. Wow.
I don't know. Yeah. Here it is. Gorilla escapes in closed space at Como Zoo, now secure. 450-pound, 15-year-old silverback gorilla. Was part of the Bachelor Boys group of the three biggest gorillas. The three gorillas are the zoo's Bachelor Boys group. The biggest weighs about 450. Yeah, and he was
never gonna tie me down. I'm one of the Bachelor Boys.
Yeah. I don't know how they got him back in. I'm not going to keep reading the story, but I remember thinking to myself at the time, because we were reporting on it, right? A banana.
That's easy.
Get the tranquilizer guns. Get the howitzer. Hang on, I got a banana in my bag.
I just thought, man, there's no glass out there. But no one was hurt, as I recall. Not even the gorilla.
It's a brown paper bag right there in the back seat. It's my lunch. Just open my lunch bag. Give me the banana. We're fine. It's going to be fine. We can't have animal stories without the occasional snake story. What do I say every day? Just, if snakes are fine, they serve their purposes in the ecology. They kill rats and stuff, whatever. But just keep them the hell away from me. In fact, keep them away from any place where people live. And people in Newport News, Virginia would agree with me, because the other day, 12,000 homes in Newport News, Virginia were plunged into darkness for 90 minutes. Why? Because a snake went into an area, slithered into a high voltage area, and came into contact with a transformer. Now, the snake paid the ultimate price.
Yeah.
In fact, so much so they can't tell what type of snake he once was.
Like those black snakes you light on for the fireworks on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Those things are gross.
Yeah, it's like a little turd.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was always like, what that looks like. That looks like what they called an Alabama black snake, and they usually turn up in your turlet. But this snake fried. I grew up in an area of at a time when there were power transformers on the poles, and squirrels would hit those things. We would lose power all the time. You'd hear a ginormous explosion.
Oh yeah, they're loud.
And if you were outside, and I saw this happen on one occasion, and you always knew it was happening. But I looked up to actually see the airborne dead squirrel being blasted off the pole.
Oh, cool!
His lifeless body swinging around. I was like,
"That's exciting. That's fun. I would like to see that every day." I know. I don't like to see people without power. I know it must be costly for the electric companies. People have to get out and replace these things. But I do like the idea of squirrels being blown to bits.
Yeah.
Ever since they attacked my truck, I had nothing against squirrels until they attacked my truck, chewed through several lines, and just made a complete mess of it.
They're just rats with pretty tails.
That's it. Get rid of them. Who needs them?
You ever seen the black squirrels?
Oh,
yes.
They have them here? I've seen them in Canada. I imagine. So we're close to Canada. I guess there's some up
here. They have the real red ones, too, and those are the mean ones.
Yeah.
Those
is
bastards.
that right? Oh, fair enough.
Redheads.
All right, one last good animal tale for you. Police in the Czech Republic are searching for an escaped convict. He busted out of prison. One of two guys in a cell. One got out. One was recovered. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say a convict? Kangaroos. So first things first, why is a kangaroo? Why are two kangaroos in a jail cell? True story. And then two of them broke out. One of them has still not come back. The kangaroos were housed at the prison in the Czech Republic. They were not there facing charges. They did not commit crimes. They're kangaroos. But apparently, they provide some sort of therapy for some of the inmates. The prison has a program. Inmates near the end of their terms can learn skills in farming and animal husbandry as a form of therapy.
From a kangaroo?
And you're in the Czech Republic. Are you going to go out and you're going to start a kangaroo farm in the Bohemian section?
There might be a market out there for it. We just don't know.
I've always wanted to know what would happen if a kangaroo drank some pills. I've got the fine Czech Pilsner here. Watch what happens when the 7-foot red drinks 14 bottles. Let me tell you something. Sober kangaroos are scary as hell. Don't give them any of your Czech pills.
My God. All right. Well, I'm pulling for the kangaroo, the one that's still on the loose.
Oh, I'm always for the kangaroo. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Those things, man. I will go down the rabbit hole of muscle-bound kangaroos, scaring people on YouTube for days on end. Kangaroos are the weirdest, funniest looking animals to me. When you see them moving really fast and their hind legs, it looks like an old train wheels, like the lift with the bar on the wheels and they're going up and down in a circle. And then they stand up and they put their dukes up like it's a 1920s prize fight. God, kangaroos just crack me up, man.
I'm wondering if I've ever seen a kangaroo. I don't know. Maybe I haven't been to that zoo yet, but
I've been. Well, there's a place. I've been to a couple of down under like animal farm places with the kids. But then I actually was down under in Australia in 1992. I went to a place where you could hang out with kangaroos, and you get the little a handful of their little kibble, and you stick it. You squat down, and then they slowly come up, and they'll eat it right from your hand. The little ones. But then over across the field, you looking up, and there's full size big ass kangaroos. And the staff there were like, the big ones won't come too close. They got no time for people. And they have reds. There's some that are red. They're colored red, like the squirrels, and they're the assholes. And the guy looked at me, and there was a giant red kangaroo, and he was 50 yards away, but you could tell he was just like giving us the eye. He's like sizing us up, and I'm like, "What's up with that big one?" And the guy that worked there, just calm as the day, goes, "Oh, no, that is he's 7-footer, mate." And I'm like,
7 feet.
He goes, those 7-foot reds out there, he goes, they got that big claw. He goes, they'll come across your center. They'll come right across your center and split you wide open, man. They'll disembowel you in one swipe.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that's crazy. He goes, I'm dead serious, man. Yeah. I'm like, well, then why is he not behind an electrified fence? He goes, he doesn't want to come near here. And I'm watching the whole time, though. There was nothing between him and me but 50 yards of grass.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if that guy gets what am I going to do?
Right.
And he had like Arnold Schwarzenegger-looking biceps. He was huge.
Go pugilist on him. You got to box him like Sylvester did. He thought that was a mouse, though, the cat. Yeah.
Well, that's right. He certainly did. Man, yeah, steer clear of the ruse.
Old red.
The 7-foot reds, if you see one. Hey, Brooklyn Park, just let me say this right now. What's up?
Hey, Brooklyn Park. Good morning.
Morning, Brooklyn Park. Appreciate you listening to the KQ Morning Show. Appreciate you being with us on a kind of a wet and wild Thursday morning here in the Twin Cities metropolitan area. But Brooklyn Park, I love the fact that I look at the big map on the wall. I'm 18 months in, and I'm like, I know exactly where that is. I've gotten really familiar because for as long as I can remember, have no problem just staring at a map for a while.
Yeah.
I like to know where I am. I like to know where other things are.
That's nice.
So there's your shout out, Brooklyn Park. Thanks for being with us. Hey, let's see what else we got going on here on the KQ Morning Show today. Oh, that's right, 7:50. We got some Metallica tickets. You're going to want to hang around for that. Oh, and by the way, the new trend maybe in weddings, you're not going to get an invitation. You're going to get a bill. Yeah, that's right. Pay to play, as they say. Meet up with Woody and Leinenkugels Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Cub Wine and Spirits in Champlin. Liney's merch, paddles, gear, plus, of course, you sample some of that good Leinenkugels beer. Hang out with Woody tomorrow from 4 to 6. Dream weddings, or just, in fact, weddings, they come in a lot of shapes and sizes and styles. But how about this one? Let's get your thoughts on this one. A couple was going through what they wanted their wedding to be, and they realized it's going to cost us a fortune.
Yeah.
How do we make this not something that we end up in debt over? So what they decided to do was put together a wedding and sell tickets for people to attend. This is from last year. They did this in June of 23, but they're just now explaining this publicly. They built a wedding package, and they charged guests $333 a head to attend.
I'm out.
Now, it was a 12-hour New York City celebration type of thing that they were looking at. So here's what they did. For the entry fee, you got to attend the ceremony at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. You got to then get on a double-decker bus to go tour New York City landmarks. And then you got a steak and lobster reception at the Freedom Tower.
Are the Jayhawks playing at the reception, or what's? Give me something here, Steve. Help me out here.
No, let me.
It sounds like a freaking wedding so far.
Let me go back and tell you this again. $333. So you get to go to the wedding at St. Patrick's. You then go tour to some very select New York City landmarks in a double-decker bus. Okay, a double-decker bus in New York City sounds like torture to me.
Yeah, that, and it's one of those tour buses. What are they running right now? About $45-$50 or something like that to get the full tour.
Well, it's included in the price you're paying $333 for the whole thing.
I know. So. I'm just trying to get my value out of this. And besides,
I got you.
In the middle of a wedding, who wants to go on a freaking double-deck bus tour of New York?
And then you go all the way down to the Freedom Tower for a steak and lobster reception.
That has my attention. All right. But still, all right, and these are the kind of things I expect at a wedding, a steak and lobster dinner. No.
I can't really speak to much because we just ran away and got married. We had a party a month later. We had a big reception party, great weekend blowout a month later where it was just easy. We went away and got married quietly. On an island. The dude that runs the video store married us. You know what I mean? It was like the guy we were renting a house from. I said, "You got someone down there who can officiate?" Yeah, the guy at the video store. Great. And the day of the wedding, it was time to be determined. Well, I'm going to close at 3, but if the store's full, I'll get there when I can. We didn't care. It was just one of those things. But planning a big wedding, like a proper, real, live wedding, Tony, what was the wedding scene for you guys? It was like a real normal, in quotes, normal wedding, right?
It was beautiful. It was big. It was at the St. Paul Hotel.
Okay.
Nice.
You didn't do it like at a water park then.
It was really.
How much did you charge for just like one ticket?
75 cents. And you got cotton candy as you walked in.
I love it.
And a commemorative T-shirt.
Oh, that sounds very nice.
Worth it.
Well, here are Nova and Remo. Yeah, that's right. I said Nova. Nova and Remo joshing around about their wedding.
$150,000. out the gate. That's the numbers they were starting at. And I said, wait, people choose to go to Beyonce's concerts because they know that they're going to have an experience. Let's put the stress on the guests and let's sell tickets to our wedding.
I was like, babe, people aren't going to come. Who do you guys think you are?
Beyonce and Jay-Z? They're so hateable. That's Nova and Remo right there. And, right, let's put the pressure on, what do they say? Let's put the pressure, the stress on the guests?
That seems awful.
Yeah, right.
Does seem awful.
All right. Did a lot of people show up for this thing? Did they make some bank on it? Get their money back?
Now, Ryder, you and Steven, you exchanged vows while skydiving, right?
Exactly. Yep. Jumped out of the plane. No parachutes because, we weren't convinced it was going to work.
If we survive, it was meant to be.
Yeah.
The craziest, this is not a wedding story, but a proposal story. The craziest proposal story I've seen in a long time. Is a gentleman, and by the way, this was all filmed and put on YouTube. A guy. Okay, first of all, I've never been a friend or had friends that would have said yes to this. But the long story short is, a guy wanted to propose to his girlfriend, and he wanted to make it a proposal to remember. So he came up with the idea: hey, how about me and my girl? We're driving down a remote country road, and we're just going to stop the car. Mm-hmm. And you're thinking, and you're going to propose to her out in the woods. Well, what happens is, a van pulls up in front of his stopped car. Like, as soon as he pulls over, this van shows up out of nowhere. 4 masked dudes with giant crowbars jump out of the back of the van. They smash in this guy's back windows and pull him out of his car. Like a kidnapping. They literally smash the windows of his car. That's not like a joke. They grab him. They hustle him into the back of the van. The whole time, this poor woman is in the passenger seat screaming bloody murder. Yeah. She's watching her boyfriend be kidnapped. And then the van back doors open, and he reemerges holding a giant bouquet of roses. He walks over to her passenger door, opens it, drops down to one knee, and proposes marriage.
Oh, no.
Now that I have your attention. And then the music kicks in.
Listen to her.
That's after she realizes what's happening. And then his friends applaud.
Before that was legitimate terror.
Well, okay,
so they forgot to assault her, guys. You were supposed to assault her first.
So here's what I mean. I've never been if a friend of mine said, "Hey man, I got an idea. You know Jane, right? I'm going to ask her to marry me. Will you put on a mask and then drive into the forest with a giant crowbar and smash my I'd be like, what is wrong with you? Sociopath. And I also have never had 4 friends who, if that was my idea, would be like, Steve will be there for you, brother. We will possibly kill your girlfriend out of fear to make this moment last.
Just give us the green light.
I mean, they're never going to forget this one, I guess.
How did she say yes to this? This is like so many red flags. Why would you want a dude that's this freaking crazy?
Come on, you like the bad boys. Admit it. Nice guys finish last. If he had just dropped out there along a country road with a nice sun setting, dropped in some romantic music and proposed, she thought, what, this for the rest of my life? I'd go to this wedding. I don't know what the hell is going to happen at the wedding. Guys, we just blow it all the time, and it works in our favor. Listen to this gal. I found this online.
Oh, my proposal was weird because it was a first date. It was a really, really good date, though. And he kind of jokingly said, like, you're so great. I really like you. And I think we should just get married right now. And we did. It became real. And now we've been married for 5 years.
5 years. It worked out for him. He popped it on the first date, and she's like, well, why not? I'll go with it.
Well, had they both just been released from prison? What the hell?
God. Normally somebody says, why don't we just get married on the first date? And you're thinking to yourself, check.
Yeah.
I've got a stage 5 clinger here.
I'm out.
I got to run. Yeah,
I'm out. I got to run.
We're right in the deep end, and I'm drowning.
I asked Rosemary to marry me very early in our relationship, but it was a joke. But the reason I said it was she said the magic words, which were, my first concert when I was 12 was Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And my response was, will you marry me?
Yes.
And then it was kind of a laugh. And then I immediately was like, that wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. And she was probably like, what the hell? And then we just got over it. But then a few years later, someone was like, hey, I think we're actually going to start dating now. This is cool.
Yeah, this went from a joke to actually getting married, but 5 years in for those kooky kids.
Man, imagine explaining to your kids why you're getting divorced when they're old enough. Well, we were 3 hours in, and one thing led to another. Have you ever been on a first date or a first hang, as I would have called it back in the day, where it was going so well you thought about anything beyond just another date? I have. I can't imagine the wheel spinning beyond I'd really like to see this girl again. That'd be as far as I would have ever taken it.
Right. That's it. Let's say, I wonder if lightning can strike twice. I wonder if there's a good second date and a third date, and then we'll break up.
Well, to be fair, I've never dated later in life, if you will. I mean, I guess by the time, maybe when you hit a certain age, you're so good at delineating and you have such discernment for immediate, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Mm-hmm. I never got there. I was locked down before I turned 30. So, these things happen, I guess.
That's working out.
So far, so good. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying, when we have dating stories, I feel like I have to couch it with, well, I wish I could relate. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think, guys, and we try too hard. When we try to be romantic, we just fail miserably, and women just look past that. Thank God. They're just like, I see something in there. He's trying anyway. He's making an effort. Busted out his back windshield of his car, for God's sakes, and got a little roughed up. For me. How romantic.
I learned a painful lesson about dating. Actually, my senior prom. I asked a girl that I barely knew, but I had already decided she was going to be the girl for me.
Good for you.
And so, and she said yes, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And it started strong, and by the end of the night, I was so in my own head, and I was just I was being funny, and she was laughing when I was just. At first, but the more the night went on, and I was thinking about, well, is there even going to be a kiss? Are we going to make out? What's going to happen? I feel like it's going well. By the time the night ended, I could tell all she was thinking was, just get me away from this guy. I was suddenly trying to have conversations about life.
Yeah.
What do you think? What about this?
Trying to sort it all out there.
I really was. I blew it, and and here's the weirdest turn. Then I 6 months later or 4 months later, I went to college, and then I dated her sister for 3 years.
Her sister?
Never, and that was great. Never freaked that one out. I was like, the sister was like, oh, she's cool, and then one day we're dating, and then I'm like, wow, I was totally blew it with the first one because I was just thinking about it, and then all of a sudden I got over it, and then it turned out, hey, we're all still friends. Go figure.
It just occurred to me, my initial first proposal in my marriage was was at a bar in Aberdeen, South Dakota, and I'd been irresponsibly overserved. It was the 80s. And I went into accidentally the women's bathroom to barf. Yeah. And it was a single, so I barfed and I opened the door and there's a woman standing there and there I am and I said, would you marry me? As a drunk might do. And she said, yeah. I don't know what she said, but I was sitting at the same bar a couple of weeks later and this attractive young lady sat down next to me and said, yeah, I hear we're getting married. Oh, we are? She goes, don't you remember? And then relayed the story to me and I went, yeah, that sounds like me. And we did in fact get married for 10 years, had 2 kids.
Isn't that nice?
I mean, look how far she lowered the bar.
Really.
She put it all the way on the ground. She just got rid of the bar.
I never had one turn out quite that wonderfully, but I did have similarly to that, Brian. Yes. I was at work one day at a record store back in the day, and a girl walked in, and she's like, hey. I go, hey, what's up? What can I help you with? And she goes, so what time? I'm like, say what? She goes, so you said you get off at 7:30, right? So 8? Right. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, think, Steve, think. And I'm like, well, let's see. I don't remember how the night ended last night. And sure enough, I'd met this girl at a bar and we had a long chat and I said, let's go out tomorrow night. And when she was standing in front of me, God is my witness, I had no idea who she was. I'm like, all right. So I told you where I worked and even what time I get off. You're not making any of this up. And we went out and saw Mystic Pizza. And I walked out of the movie and was like, I think I'd rather talk about Julia Roberts than talk to you. So nothing leads to another.
How that went.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, August the 15th. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Tomorrow and Sunday, Metallica, the band we just heard, will be at U.S. Bank Stadium. Metallica, as they were called in their early days, Alcoholica, because they were, that's what everybody called them. They were just pounding, boy.
I mean, like more than other bands their age?
That was kind of their thing.
All right.
In 1991, my band at the time, the Black Crowes, we did the Monsters of Rock tour in Europe. We were on our first album, and Metallica was touring with the Black Album. That song, Enter Sandman, had just been released when that tour started. And watching them every night, and it was just obvious. It was like, oh, they're becoming the biggest band in the world right now. They were already big, but you could tell it was this whole other energy just around them. There was this inertia and momentum and all those things. And it was just like, you could lick your finger and stick it up in the wind. It was like, oh, this is happening right now.
Yeah.
It was pretty incredible. And they opened their set every night with Enter Sandman, the new song. So as everybody who knows, who's ever seen Metallica, what's the music they play before they come out? The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
That's what's over the PA. And that would be over the PA. We're in these stadiums in Europe, and the place is going nuts. And then it would just hear this, and it would start, and then it was like 80,000 people as one just go. It was like this. It just looked like an amoeba of mass angst. And it was like, good God almighty. And 33 years later, it's still happening.
It's still happening, man. And it's happening at U.S. Bank Stadium twice this weekend. I just love that there's 18 of these shows in the world. Who knows if they extend this, and they most certainly probably will. But initially, when they said, all right, we've got 18 stops in the world, Minneapolis is on it.
Sunday night, we have, so it's tomorrow night, Friday, and Sunday, and we have 2 tickets for the show on Sunday right here for a couple of listeners to compete for. Right now, callers 9 and 2 at 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK. We will take callers 9 and 2, and you will play a game, and if you win that game, you will see Metallica on Sunday night. That's how cool we are.
Yeah, we are.
Almost as cool as our friends in Blaine. Good morning, Blaine. Thanks for being with us for the KQ Morning Show.
Blaine. Bowling alley I used to hang out at all the time up there. I don't even know if it's open anymore, but
was it the Blaine Bowl?
Yeah, the Blaine Bowl, yeah.
Blaine Bowl, I think that's open. Blaine Brook is open too.
Oh, Blaine Brook. I think that was probably it right there on Central. But I had some good times there. But I used to work up in Cambridge, and I lived in downtown Minneapolis. And Blaine was, by the time I stopped in Blaine, I knew I could have a couple and get safely home.
So anyway, cheers to our friends up in Blaine. All right, let's play ourselves a game. We got a couple of callers ready to rock with Metallica on Sunday night. Tony, what are we going to subject these wonderful folks to?
Yeah, we're always entertained by and on the hunt for words or phrases or combinations that would make for great band names. We love it. So are these actual band names, or are they made up and do not or did not exist as far as we know? Now, today we're going to go with Metallica tribute cover band names, or is it made up?
Oh, wow.
Specifically.
There are no shortage of Metallica tribute acts out there.
No doubt.
Wow. So that'll be all right. This is great. Let's do it. Band or not a band, Metallica cover band version. Who is contestant number 1?
Let's bring up Bill from South St. Paul.
Bill, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
You a Metallica fan?
Of course.
Of course. All right. Well, I appreciate that, y'all. Are you a Minnesota native?
No, I am not.
All right.
No. You hear how he cut off that O on the no? No.
Yeah.
Not no.
Yeah, it would have been Noah.
Noah.
Well, it's good to have you with us now, sir. So Sunday night, we got 2 tickets for Metallica. Good luck.
All right.
All right, Billy, number 1, Blistered Earth.
Band
Blistered Earth. Ooh, that does not sound fun.
Nope. Noah.
I'm going to say no.
I am sorry, it is actual Metallica.
Blistered Earth.
Okay, all right.
Just appeared in Montana last week.
You're gonna call yourselves Blistered Earth. You better be loud and fast, boy.
Right. Yeah, no acoustic folk. Number 2, the new Metallicas.
Jeez. I'm going to say no to that one.
Correct. It is not. It is made up. It's nonsense.
I had a neighbor who was one of the actual, from the MTV 80s, New Monkeys.
Really?
Remember when they brought out the New Monkeys? One of them's a friend of mine.
Funny.
I missed that one.
I met him one day. We're chatting, and it just comes up in conversation. I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? You're one of the New Monkeys?
You're a new monkey.
Crazy. Yeah.
All right, Billy, number 3. Master of puppies.
Master of puppies. Master of puppies.
Master of puppies.
I'm going to say no to that one.
Good thing you did.
Thought they might have been talking about women. No, never mind.
I thought it was an all-female Metallica tribute band of heavily chested women.
There it is.
I just went ahead and finished the thought for you, so I saw where you were going.
Thank you.
2 for 3, Bill. Keep it up.
Nice job, William. Number 4. Metallica Cup o' Noodles.
Cup of noodles.
Well, that's craziness.
What is he saying?
Cup of noodles. I'm going to say Metallica Cup of noodles. I'm going to say no.
All right. Say it. Say it with pride.
Rolling along.
All right, sir. 2 more for you, Bill. You're doing great. Number 5. Hatfields and McCoys.
Wow.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to say yes to that.
That is awesome.
Correct. It is.
What are they doing, like country style or something, maybe? The Hatfields and McCoys? I don't know. I'm just
I like
going
it.
there.
Really good.
Yeah.
Your last one, number 6, is Alcoholica.
Well, that is just another classic. I'm going to, in me relating to the alcoholic, I'm going to say yes to that.
Nice job.
Wow, there is a tribute band called that. Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't mean to spoil that one when I said that's what they used to call them. Yeah, Alcoholica.
Well, that's why.
Bill, my man, 5 for 6. That is a very strong effort on Band or Not a Band Metallica cover band version. Well played, sir. We're going to put you on hold for a minute. It is time to move on to contestant number 2. Who have we got?
Say hey to our buddy Evan from Virginia, Minnesota.
Evan, good morning.
Good morning.
Metallica fan?
Absolutely.
I like to hear that. All right, we got 2 tickets for Sunday's performance. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Big E, number 1, Hardwired.
Hardwired. Well, that's the name of one of their albums. I'm going to say yes.
You connected the dots. Very good.
Attaboy.
Number 2, Exit Light and Fit.
Exit Light and what?
Fit. Exit Light and Fit.
No.
Correct. It's a healthy yogurt, I believe.
You will not find in the writer, I'm sure.
Number 3 is the 4 Horsemen.
Yes.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Oh.
There was an actual band. I was label mates with the 4 Horsemen back in the day on Deaf American Records.
Now they're playing Metallica tunes now.
And by the
that was one of the tunes they wrote with Mustaine.
Oh, okay.
Right.
By the way, for anyone wondering, the 4 Horsemen was a 5-piece.
Just to mess with you.
4, 5.
Evan, 3 for 3. Keep it up.
All right, Evan, your next one, Damage Incorporated.
Yes.
Wow. Right off
Someone
the bat.
knows his way around a Metallica tribute band quiz.
All right, Evan, number 5 is Sweet Militia.
Sweet Militia?
Yes, sir.
No.
Correct.
My God.
Evan almost seemed offended by that.
Wow.
Sweet Militia. All right, Evan, you got one more.
Oh, my God. I have so many thoughts on Sweet Militia. First of all, how have I never come up with that one already for my new tribute band? Oh, jeez, that's great.
All right, your last one is Metallica.
No.
Nice job, my friend.
Metallica, all like Lounge Act versions. Enter light, exit night. Evan, my brother, you went 6 for 6. Damn. It is, holy smokes, that's some good Metallica-ing going
Bill
on.
was making some plans there at 5 for 6.
I feel for you, Bill. 5 for 6 on 9 days out of 10. 5 for 6 is going to win you your game around here, but Evan was just too tough. Congratulations, Evan. Gentlemen, thank you both for calling in and playing. Evan, have a great time at the show.
Thank you, Steve.
Man, right on.
Right on.
Sweet Militia. I'm gonna be thinking about that one for a long time. Oh my God, that's incredible. Why have I never done that? I mean, that's like, I have so many like stupid, like I wanted to do a lounge act for years called James Beige. It's just like, white golf club dude who does James Brown songs.
Right,
just really like anything. Sweet Militia's incredible.
I almost went with Militia Manchester. And I went with Sweet Militia instead. Both quality.
God, that's great. So there was these big right-wing riots in Britain last week. I don't know if you saw that, but Militia Manchester, we could just totally put that angle on it. Oh, look, it's time we go back to real England. What was the Don't Cry Out Loud? Was that Melissa Manchester? Just keep it inside and learn how to hide your feelings. That's like the Irish Catholic prayer song. Don't just keep those feelings inside.
Take a pill, Mom.
No, it's going to be okay. You'll die one day. Don't worry about it. Do not let out your emotions.
Just bury it.
Oh, that's great. That's good stuff right there. Yeah, Metallica, as I was saying in 1991, the last gig of that tour, we did the Monsters of Rock tour, was AC/DC headlined.
Yeah.
Like who follows Metallica? Well, AC/DC is the answer to that. And so Metallica had Enter Sandman, and they opened every night with that. And it was like, holy crap. And then AC/DC would come out and open with their new single, Thunderstruck. And every night I'm just on the side stage going, holy crap.
Orgy of rock.
Just totally nuts. And Angus Young at that time was 35, and all I thought was, God, he's so old, and he still gets to run around. He's still so good at this. He's 35 years old. Yeah, okay. Good times for sure, and more good times will be happening this Sunday night at the U.S. Bank Stadium. I'm starting to talk myself into going to that show, even though it's a Sunday night.
I know. I don't think I'm going to do Sunday night, but yeah, I'm thinking. I was already on during the last commercial break going, tickets on Ticketmaster here. What do we got left? Maybe some nosebleeds because they have the big Jumbotron. So this one's in the round, as it were. There's no such thing at U.S. Bank Stadium, but it's right there on the 50-yard line. That's where the stage is, so everything surrounds it. Should be pretty interesting. And but I already saw Metallica at U.S. Bank Stadium. Am I getting greedy? Then they kick it off. That was the first show ever, first event at U.S. Bank Stadium, I believe, wasn't it?
No kidding.
Now I'll have to Google that.
No, that's for real. It was either that or some country dude. I don't remember, but they both played on the same weekend.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah. I forget who was first, but yeah, that was the weekend I went.
Let's just say it was Metallica, and who's going to fact check us?
I will tell you this, so the country crowd was a lot more attractive, from my point of view, than the Metallica crowd. I mean, I'm kidding, but just a bunch of dudes in black T-shirts. Pot-belly dudes in black T-shirts.
First Metallica gig was in 1989 for me. And what's the Darkness and Visiting and Justice for All.
Master of Puppets.
And Justice for All tour.
Yeah.
And I was I knew who they were. I had heard some songs, but a buddy goes, "Hey, I got Metallica tickets, let's go." I said, "Sure." And I walked into, it was already the amphitheater. So it's 14,000 people at the biggest cult gig I've ever seen. I was like, wait a minute, I thought these guys were still like a club band. No, I was a little late to the dance. And it was that. It was like 14,000 people, and 900 of them were girls, maybe.
Yeah, right.
I was like, wow. And then 3 or 4 years later, it was like it wasn't quite that way anymore.
You wander by one of those country gigs, and you're like, are men allowed in the show? Are women not wearing Daisy Dukes allowed to go to this show? But I'm just saying, it was an attractive crowd. I was wandering around. I didn't go to the show.
Yeah, when you see it, when a guy comes up and he goes, "Oh, man, I got Keith Urban tickets," you go, huh? What? Really? Oh, okay, cool. Right on, dude. Hey, if you're looking for, I don't know, cooking oil, I'm just saying, be cool, man. Be cool, because the whole cooking oil racket, it's heating up. We have details. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Show? There we go.
Oh, I thought we were going to be listening to something.
Oh.
I thought so, too.
Hint, hint.
Did I? Boy, sometimes we talk so much about what we're going to do that I just don't pay any attention.
And then we never do. Yeah, that's what we do. I don't know, you folks out there, if I could pull back the curtain just for a moment, this might be fun for you this morning.
If I could pull back Zep's curtain.
What you'd see is I need some manscaping. No, while you're all rocking out, we're talking about what we're not going to do in the next segment. It's sort of like putting those movies in your DVR or whatever on your watch list, and it turns into the movies I'm not going to watch, apparently. So I just keep adding them. I don't watch them.
Sure.
Yes, so.
Sure.
Anyway, sorry for that little snafu. That was my bad. I've got my pants back on. Let's do this.
Man, I tell you what, pantless radio is where it's at, though. It's great. No one knows if we're kidding or not.
No, they don't.
Well, you know what we could do one day is just come in and just trade pants. We could all wear each other's pants. See what that does.
Ryder's eyes just got about as big as...
Who's going to wear my pants?
No one here, that's for sure. Well, maybe that blow-up alien that he's got in his studio, Tony, over there.
Can we add to the list of audio drops, Ryder's, who's going to wear my pants?
Yes, we can.
That was actually pretty great.
That's going to be a State Fair T-shirt next year.
Great.
2025. Who's going to wear my pants?
I have puked in the back alley behind the Uptown bar.
We'll join that one.
Oh, my God. That's great.
Tony, you scamp.
That's really good.
I love all the things I was expecting Tony to play this morning, that was not it.
Delightfully surprised.
Don't put baby in a corner and come out fighting.
Oh man.
Who's going to wear my pants? Isn't that a U2 song? Who's going to wear my gold pants? Sounds like something Bono would sing about.
Does.
Wow. Wherever we were going, we're not going to get there. But I can tell you this. The fair is coming up, and I'm thinking about the fair because I did see a story. I mentioned cooking oil a minute ago. 4 men in Georgia have been arrested in connection to a crime. They are accused of stealing large amounts of cooking oil from Atlanta area restaurants. There was a similar crime out on Long Island a couple months ago. Huge bust, and it's a crime ring, and people are going around to restaurants to steal cooking oil. They are siphoning equipment to steal barrels at a time of cooking oil from restaurants. This is a part of an organized crime ring. This is not your dude up the street who needs rent money. This is an offshoot of organized crime. Cooking oil, sometimes known as liquid gold.
Is it?
Can be sold for very big money to recycle into biodiesel fuel.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes they call it yellow grease. So it can be filtered. It can be filtered and boiled down into a biofuel for uses that vary from cosmetics to animal feed. So it's a hot commodity. More and more restaurants are selling their spent oil to processing companies. Okay. And so I guess the mob gets a hold of that information. They're like, wait, they're selling their processed oil or their spent oil? Well, then let's just go hijack it and we'll sell it to the processing companies. And that's exactly what's happening. They're stealing barrels and barrels and barrels of cooking oil.
Organized crime. They don't miss a trick, do they? Now it's the cooking oil. So then they take it down to the process. So this is like the copper thing. Don't leave any copper lying around. No copper wiring. They're pulling light poles apart in cities and stealing copper wiring. And then they take it down and sell that for the big dough as well.
Now, in 1998, there was a Simpsons episode entitled Lard of the Dance.
Yes, that's what I was wondering. I was thinking, God, why does this sound so familiar to me?
And Homer and Bart hatch a scheme to steal cooking grease. So in case you, like Zepp, are going, why have I heard of this? That's right. Most stories do trace back to The Simpsons, it seems like. There's you know how they say there's a tweet for everything. There's a Simpsons episode for everything.
God, there really is, isn't there?
Pretty much so. So, by the way, Lard of the Dance, the title alone is just absolutely great.
It's amazing.
And it reminds me of that horrible moment in American history when everybody was obsessed with Lord of the Dance. Remember that?
Yes.
Michael Flatley and all these people just dancing with, they don't move their hands, but look at those legs.
Paralyzed from the waist up.
I was doing river dance shtick for a while. River Steve, I called it. And
How do you work that in?
I would just enter a room doing river dance.
With a bandana.
It was a whole thing. It was River Steve. And at some point I realized, like, every time I do that, everyone laughs, but then my knees hurt.
Right, yeah, you pull something.
Yeah, this is really not. Didn't have a long shelf life, but for a hot minute, River Steve was all the rage.
A bandwagon I watched go by. Did not get on that one. Haven't watched the live performance. I was at a bar, and St. Patrick's Day, probably downtown St. Paul, and they had a troupe that would get up and do that whole thing. And
really?
It was just weird.
Yeah, that was, let's see, PBS had Riverdance, and then there's also, I still see the one, it's like the 4 Irish women who play, it's like Celtic Fire, or whatever it's called. And
I think that was the one.
One plays fiddle, and one plays a harp, and one, like, drinks Jamesons, and then they all throw up on each other.
Yeah,
I don't know.
potatoes.
I never watch it. I just see the trailer, and I always just think, I've been to Ireland. It doesn't look like that.
No. Guess what they're not doing in Ireland?
They're not looking drop dead gorgeous and singing songs like that.
Yeah.
I've said, and by the way, this is coming. I'm Irish, so I can say this. I think the first time I was ever in Dublin, I made the joke. You know what every gorgeous woman in this city has in their purse?
What?
A passport. The women, but no. What my experience was that when the women that you did see that you were attracted to are like, I'll throw my life away to spend 5 minutes with them. It's like it was an all or nothing proposition is what I saw at the time.
Yeah, I can.
It's like hi, my name's Steve, and I will drop everything I'm doing to just walk around with you, or I'll have another Guinness, please. It was just one of the other.
Galway girls with their black hair and their blue eyes. Look out for them.
Yeah.
They'll sneak up on you.
It can be very troubling. But speaking of cooking oil, with the fair right around the corner, check this out. The Iowa State Fair, also always in competition for best new food. Minnesota State Fair, and I say this, I would have said this way before I moved up here. Reputation greatly preceded it. I had been to the Minnesota State Fair back in 2009 or 10.
Yeah.
Blown away by all of the things brought to me to eat, the fried whatevers. But Iowa does their own thing, too. Iowa State Fair this year has a new, they have lobster corn dogs.
Oh, so in.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Lobster corn dog. That would be... It looks good. I can't believe I'm saying it, but yeah, it would be kind of hard not to try the lobster corn dog. Although a lobster in Iowa has traveled a ways to get there,
and it's not actually a lobster; it's just some old beef, mutton that's gone bad. That would be a lobster. What was it? What are they here in Minnesota? I always call them corn dogs, but they're pronto pups.
Pronto pups.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Well, there's
right?
the rivalry between the two.
I mean, but
the corn dog is more the corn batter.
Yeah,
that makes it the corn dog.
It's like cornbread batter.
Yeah. And then the pronto pup is what?
Some other batter.
Yeah. Pronto-y
batter.
Well, I think we cleared that up.
Mm-hmm.
I am married to a cornbread aficionado. My wife will eat cornbread with the best of them, and she's a corn dog. We went to the fair last year and tried the pronto pup, and I was like, that's pretty good, and she's like.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, nice people here. I love it, but no, stop. This is supposed to be cornbread. Iowa also has unveiled the cheeseburger egg roll. Another item. I'm just looking at a photo, and yes, I would just eat that right now. I mean, you take a cheeseburger, which we all know and love, and then you just fry it like an egg roll, which we all know and love, and yeah, I'm good to go.
After the S'mores beer over there at Giggles, next to KQ's cabin on the corner of Cooper and Lee, after I had the S'mores beer, I'm pretty sure I'll try anything at a state fair.
Remind me?
It's a s'more. You know, the s'more, it's got it's like a dark beer, and it's got the marshmallow in there, and the graham crackers.
They put the graham crackers around the edge and stuff
s'mores,
like that.
You're putting the extra H in there.
S'mores.
That's what you say after too many s'mores.
S'mores beer, please.
Wow.
S'mores. That sounds creepy. It sounds like, something I need to get cleared up.
Yeah, really.
I got some s'mores on my nether regions.
Yeah, they're spreading.
S'mores.
Now, that's not something that the Schlitz Brewery is providing, is it?
No.
That just I said Schlitz, and I immediately thought of a kid named Tim Knox. Had the beer can collection when we were kids.
Yeah.
Did you or anyone you know have the beer can collection in their basement in the 70s?
Yeah, I would just take the ones that my dad drank.
Okay.
So it was nothing but like Olympia and Light.
Right, that's same with Dad's, and it wasn't. They weren't on shelves. It was just in a big lawn garbage bag, like 500 cans down.
Some still had beer in it.
This kid he did have the shelf on the wall, and it was it was hundreds of beer cans that now I would love to go back and see them all. Just all those regional weird. You never, even as a kid, you're aware of the staples, and I would go in this guy's basement and just look at those beer cans for like an hour. I would just get lost in it. It was amazing.
As a kid, I remember, and Dad was a Schlitz guy until they raised Schlitz.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that right, or is it Schlitz?
Schlitz.
That's it. But I remember when he'd use the can opener, the pointy side, like they used to do with the old oil cans on the Schlitz. Yeah, but then they raised the price a nickel a 6-pack, and Dad was like, bold. And off that, he went on to the next one. And then there were those magic pull tabs, Not the ones you win money at, but just going through the history of the beer can for Ryder over there.
Because I don't remember a time when beer cans didn't have the pull tabs on them.
Right.
Like, that's weird.
You think I'm going to pay 0.8 of a penny per beer more? You got another thing coming, by God.
My dad used the word principle a lot. On principle.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm going to have to whoop you boys now on principle.
On principle. That's pretty great. I had a neighbor as a kid. I used to babysit for his kids, and he was an orthopedic surgeon, doing very well in the world. And he drank beer, as in a white can with one word on it in black letters: beer. It was the generic beer. It literally just said beer, and I was like, "Wow, you just." And even as a kid, I'm like, "There's no way that tastes like beer."
No, I feel like it was recycled.
We drank. When I was in school, we drank something called Cook's, and a 6-pack was $1.99, not even. I mean, a case of Cook's was like $5.
K-O-C-H?
No, C-O-O-C-O-O-K apostrophe S, like Cook's, like as in someone named Cook, and it was his company, so it was Cook's with an apostrophe.
Gotcha.
And it said on the can, it didn't say it was beer. It simply said for real beer flavor. And at one point we noticed, wait, this doesn't actually say it's beer. Cook's for real beer flavor.
Fermented beverage.
And you just at some point realize, like, we're going to have to pony up and pay for the Milwaukee's best.
You just got to do it.
We're going to have to get the real stuff in there. The Minnesota State Fair, of course, has a bunch of new foods coming out. And we have plenty of time to get into all this, which we will. But let me just say, as we have discussed already on the show a little bit, the thing I am not looking forward to, but will not say no if someone offers it, is the deep fried ranch dressing.
Oh, everybody's stoked about that one. That seems to be the new one that's captured the imagination of Minnesotans. Even my buddies are like, deep fried ranch dressing.
I'm not going to go out of my way to find it, but I'm just telling you, if someone walks up and says, here, try it, I'm going to go, okay, thanks. Yeah, I will.
All right, did you hear that out there, whomever?
Yeah, and just a heads up, we're going to be there first Friday of the fair, probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Oh, really?
Corner of Cooper and Lee.
We did not discuss this.
Yes, we did.
All right, so that's when we want the deep fried ranch dressing to be showing up at about what time?
10:30-ish, first Friday of the fair, August 23rd.
Cooper and Lee.
Nice. Okay.
That's a date.
Fair enough. We'll enjoy some fried food out there. It just brings to mind, there's a song, vaguely. I hear it like you know the way when you look across a field in the morning and there's like a little fog rolling across, and you can almost hear the fog in the distance, and then it's almost like a Zen gong. I hear something approaching. Let me see tell me if you hear this as well.
Okay.
The Minnesota State Fair is famous for putting food on a stick.
One bite?
Can I eat?
All the food groups are represented.
That boy is a P.I.G. pig.
I'll be alright.
What's in this, like cheese, pepperoni?
For a while.
You going to finish that croissant?
I can smile for a while.
Eggplant?
Noodles, meat.
'Cause through the day it's 'cause I stopped into the fair.
3 sliders on a stick.
It's once a year.
Delicious.
And I'll be here.
The time has come for this.
'Cause things are flying. Yes, it's true. Flying in cheesy goo. Cargo shorts and mesh tank tops.
It's spaghetti on a stick.
I'll devour and just won't stop. 'Cause things are frying. Frying to me. It just won't matter as long as it's dipped in batter.
I had a hot dog earlier. I'm not that hungry.
This is the ultimate guilty pleasure.
I'm telling you what, Ivan Jones, we were bringing up comedy songs yesterday, and I was begging Tony for this one. He said, State Fair's coming up, man. Just sit on it, which he says to me a lot. But anyway.
Me and Potsy.
Right, sit on it. Sit on it, Potsy. That is brilliant.
Oh, please.
I love it. No, man, I'm serious.
Hold me.
I'm serious. I'm welling up a little bit. I've got tears in my eyes.
I like that look.
Do you remember when Joni decided she was in love with Potsy?
Of course.
And she nicknamed him Dren because that was nerd backwards?
Yes.
I just realized you're Pez.
Yeah,
That backwards is
Put your
Pez.
head on my shoulder.
Stevie's serenading me right now.
That was pretty great. Joni was great, wasn't she? Well, she's dead now.
Yeah, she is.
Just thought I'd bring that to a screeching halt. Aaron Moran, we hardly knew you.
She hooked up with Chachi, too, in real life.
In real life?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll do it. Yeah. I saw Scott Baio at a golf course once, and I knew he was playing because on his golf bag in giant letters it said Scott Baio.
Scott.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. I kid you not. And by the way, it's a pitch and putt in Studio City, California. It's 9 holes. The longest hole's 120 yards. Right. It's a part. You walk out there with a 9-iron and a putter. That's what they give you. And he was on the course with a full-size golf bag. And it said in giant script letters, Scott Baio on the bag. I was like, wow, he is living a life, huh? Top 5 at 9 coming up. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, August 15th. Aerosmith, Don't Want to Miss a Thing, written by Diane Warren. Boy, Aerosmith got a lot of heat when that song was released. Everybody, all the rockers were like, oh, they've sold out, man. Diane Warren, power ballad. That's a garbage song. Why don't they write their own songs anymore? Everybody was giving them grief. A year later, summer of 99, my band was on tour in Europe, and we did a few gigs with Aerosmith, including we were in Lisbon, Portugal, and we're at this giant soccer stadium, and where they're headlining, and we were opening for them. And backstage, a journalist was interviewing Joe Perry, and as we're like, everyone's milling around, it's just happening. He goes, "What do you say to people who make fun of you for the Diane Warren song?" And Joe Perry looked at the guy, and goes, I'm playing a stadium because of that song. He goes, go ahead, make fun all you like. He goes, big difference between 10,000 and 80,000 feet. And he was just so Joe Perry about it.
The Boston chippy.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, it's a pretty good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know who it doesn't bother? The 80,000 people who bought tickets to be here tonight.
Not in the least. It is almost 9 o'clock, but that's okay. We can give it to you a couple minutes early. Here's your top 5 at 9, the things you need to know for the day to get you off on the right foot, assuming you are just now putting your first foot out of the bed. Check this out. Number 5 on your top 5 at 9, the Las Vegas Sphere, that incredible new venue, the mind-blowing experience where U2 did a bunch of shows, The Dead and Company just did 30 shows, the Eagles are about to kick off a 20-show residency. The Sphere has posted a profit in their fourth quarter revenue of $273 million, much higher than estimates, more than double what it made last year. This is great news, and not just for the people who own the Sphere, but for all of us, because I do believe all roads lead for all music fans to go there eventually. They're talking about building more Spheres, like one in London, maybe one in Asia. It's going to be a while before these things are any closer than Las Vegas. And with more and more bands going there and more people becoming aware of it,
yeah.
Like I said, we're the music fans among us, and that's pretty much all of us. We're all going to get there eventually. So I'm glad it's working, because this thing was $2 billion to make.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, what if it tanks? Like, what if it doesn't work? Because, but the modern age of concerts, you do have to compete. It sounds crazy to say, but look, you're competing with Netflix. You're competing with video games. You're competing with all these things. Live music through a venue like the Sphere, it's an exciting thing. Everybody that goes, my God, I never need to see another iPhone video from a gig at the Sphere, but I do need to still see the Sphere, so I'm glad to see they're doing well.
Yeah, just existing in my imagination right now. But yeah, I want to experience it for myself, because we're always going to have our dive bars where our bands show up. We're always going to be at venues like Target Field for outdoor shows, but this is an experience.
That's exactly what it is.
And you're going to get to Vegas. I mean, this is how Vegas survives, by creating innovative, wild, larger than imagination attractions, just waiting for the right band. The Eagles are maybe one of those bands, but I wish they'd scheduled out a little further, like we knew 2025 through the schedule, so I could kind of get something together. But
remember, was it Bastards of Young or Left of the Dial, the Replacements video that was just the amplifier? It was just a camera focused in on the tweed cover of the amp. What if the Replacements played the Sphere and that's all they put up on the big video board? Just the amp for a 90-minute set.
That would be
Honestly,
so Replacements.
I'd go. I'd do it.
In a second.
Number 4 on your top 5 at 9. Hey, Gen X, as in us. Get ready, because now science, people that look at, age-related issues are saying rapidly changing age-related molecules. Some changes happen to us all around 2 specific ages. Around the age of 44, that's in the rear view for me and you and Tony and a lot of us.
Yeah.
But 60 is the second one. Rapidly changing age-related molecules. At the age of 60, notable changes are observed in people's molecules as they relate to immune regulation, your immunity, kidney function, and the metabolism of carbohydrates. So watch it. So anyway, all the Gen Xers, we're all steamrolling right towards 60. Here it comes.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Bring it. Yeah, I'm still not picking up a pickleball paddle.
No. Oh, God, no. The pickleball thing, and I'm fine with everybody doing whatever they want, except for some reason that one's always just bugged me.
I don't know what it is. I mean, God bless you if you play pickleball out there. Probably talking to a lot of people that do and enjoy it, and
of course,
just can't wait to whoop my ass out on some court in Edina somewhere. But
what if it was called something cooler?
Thank you. I was just thinking that maybe it's just simply because it's called pickleball.
Laser ball.
Although, you know what I am ready for? Pickleball golf. I'm ready to just dumb down golf. Just make it, give me some plastic balls, plastic clubs, really short little, that's called mini golf, I guess.
I guess that would be called mini golf.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so we're getting older.
We're all getting older. Here's some great news for all of us. Number 3 on your top 5 at 9. A hacking group that calls themselves USDOD claims to have stolen some personal data, some records that includes Social Security numbers and physical addresses for, wait for it, everybody. They say they've stolen 2.7 billion records earlier this year from the national public data. So basically, if you are living and breathing and operating as a member of society, these people claim to have your Social Security number.
Yeah, all right. Okay. I mean, they probably already had it. Good luck with my Social Security number, by the way. You might face a little frustration there, but so it's all out there. What do you mean by everybody? I mean, like everyone?
They say they have 2.7 billion records, personal information that people give to employers, private investigators, background checks, sensitive information for everybody in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada.
I think Cumulus has most of that on me already, but all right. You know what they had to do, because it's so difficult. I understand if your identity is stolen, to get it back, to get your life back on track. I understand it may take years. There's a process.
I've been through it.
Sometimes you never really shake it. No. I think you got to catch up to the curve, since they're going to eventually steal all of our identities. someday soon, or sooner than later, rather, it should be easy to grab a new identity. We should be able to just log on and, you know what, go in with a new name. I need a new social security number, new address, the whole thing. Just a whole kit and caboodle.
I'm not opposed to that. In fact, because I will at least change my name for the next round of life. I think I'm going to go with Zsa Gorman.
Nice.
Has Eldo Nova been used? I've been thinking about that one. Has anyone used Eldo Nova? Isn't that a great name?
Man, what a fantasy you're living over there. Number 2 on your top 5 at 9. The summer of 1982, E.T. was cool, but Poltergeist was cooler. Make no mistake. The home used for the film Poltergeist is on the market. It is in Los Angeles somewhere, not near Hollywood. It's way out in the valley, probably. 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, swimming pool, and a jacuzzi. Seller swears it isn't haunted. You can pick up the Poltergeist house for $1.1 million.
Not built on an old Indian burial ground?
Not in actuality, no.
I mean, they're not going to disclose that.
Yeah, they have to disclose that.
They have to?
What?
Disclose that it's buried? They'd have to tell you.
That'd be nice.
Well,
it's
legally,
from the movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Legally.
You can tell who hasn't seen Poltergeist lately.
No, and in the movie, it was a bad thing. They knew they were supposed to, but they didn't. It was very hush-hush,
Yeah. Was that supposed to make us feel bad? I can't remember. I was just scared to death.
That's it, right. It was just super creepy.
Super creepy. And by the way, if memory serves, so Poltergeist, the teenage daughter in that movie was played by Dominique Dunn, and she met an early demise, as well as the little girl, I believe.
There's a curse around the
like a lot of
movie.
people in the movie. And then and Craig T. Nelson had to play coach all those years, so that's worse than death.
What a curse.
He has a bad back, I think. A little arthritis.
No, he's
some IBS.
Let's see what else. Oh, good Lord. Here it comes. The number 1 top 5 at 9 story. Hey, Vikings fans. Kick back, enjoy the ride. J.J. McCarthy is out for the season.
Of course he is.
Our top pick, first round quarterback out of the University of Michigan, a man who, when was last on the field, won a national championship, had a full meniscus repair surgical procedure yesterday. That means he is out for the season. The Sam Darnold camp was expected to comment, but they're still too drunk on champagne to know that they don't have to check the rear view mirror anytime soon. Sam Darnold, it's your team, brother. Come on now.
I know.
Come on, Sammy.
I predict we will not have a quarterback controversy until week 3.
Until week 3, when Sam Darnold's torn meniscus appears.
I don't know. I mean, what we have is a coaching staff that has gone through juggling, 4 or 5 quarterbacks last season, ended up taking snaps under center for the Vikings.
There was a lot.
Yeah, so they may have that again this year. But I tell you, the ESPN guys seem to think that Sam Darnold has a career, and maybe it's in Minnesota. Look, he's got a better than average, a damn good offensive line. He's got a running game this year. Mm-hmm. He's got plenty of receivers out there to catch the ball, and good luck, Sammy.
All right, Sam, it's you. Keys to the car, buddy. Let's go. Let's see if we can keep it between the lines. Go team,
Keep
indeed.
it out of the ditch.
Hey, Baldwin, Wisconsin. What's up? Good morning. I want to say simply, what's up?
Yeah.
Cheers to our listeners in Baldwin.
Love it. Seen them from 13,000 feet. Twin City skydiving out there.
Yeah.
They have a manure pond you have to sort of out on one of the dairy farms. You don't want to land there.
You want to make sure to avoid such.
Yeah. Love me some Baldwin. Good firecrackers over there, too.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Load up next time you cross the border. Hey, we talk a lot about, the good old days. I mean, you can't help it. We get, we hear music and we have stories and memories come up. The good old days for me involve a lot of Taco Bell. As a kid, as a teen, as a man in my 20s, well into my 30s, I was still making a run for the border on an awful lot of occasions. Way more. I'm not saying this with pride. It's with a tinge of I can't believe how much I used to eat. And so Taco Bell is targeting me right now. They're operating a new little something. It's just starting in California, but it's going to come across the nostalgic menu.
Yes.
One popular item from each decade you can no longer find. From the 1960s, they've brought back the tostada. Now, the tostada was around until just a few years ago, but you don't get it anymore. But it was introduced on their original menu in 1962. I liked the Taco Bell tostada as a kid. I went there. The item from the 70s, the green burrito. Now, I was a big fan of the green burrito back in the day. That's the bean, onion, cheese burrito, but with the green sauce.
It just sounds like it should be a drag car or something. The green burrito, monster truck. Uh-oh, here comes the green burrito.
That'd be pretty good.
All right, what do you got? So the green burrito, so you've got that green sauce in there, obviously.
It's a bean burrito, but with green sauce, basically. Gotcha. From the 80s, never got into this one, the Mexi Melt.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, it was just a, soft taco with a bunch of extra cheese melted and stuff. And then the 90s, don't care, the beef gordita supreme, flat bread wrapped around some stuff. That was the Chihuahua was a big on those.
Yeah.
But here's my only I love the idea, but seriously, where is the enchilada? Where is my enchilada brown sauce black olive delight? Do you remember the enchilada?
All right, so first of all, there's an old Jim Gaffigan bit up out there. It's all the same thing. They just name it differently, but it's a tortilla and what is there? Cheese and bean, and then you've got some meat and All right, so the enchilada, I don't know, but it sounds exciting.
The enchilada it came in its own little container. It had its special little tray they would serve it in.
Yeah,
and it was like a corn tortilla. It's kind of an enchilada type of thing, but with a brown sauce, a couple of chopped onions, and 3 black olives placed on top. And they gave you the spork with which to eat it.
Oh, the spork.
I love the spork.
This is what happens when you only go to these places when you're blitzed. I'm like, I probably ate 100 of them.
This is pre-alcohol for me. This is 70s Taco Bell.
I can see.
And that enchilada, that's what sold my dad. He was like, damn best thing I've ever had in my life. Like, the most surprising, I think, development in my life to this point is the fact that Don Gorman loved Taco Bell. I still can't get over it.
You guys always have the enchilada, and so that's not offered currently.
They got rid of that thing, I want to say, like in the 80s. It's been gone forever, and they did not bring it back for the nostalgia menu. I bet they lost the recipe for the brown sauce. I bet it's just that simple.
Well, if they bring that back, Steve's going to be a delight to be around.
I would crush an enchilada right now. I would right here on air. I would talk with a mouthful of enchilada.
Did you ever try and make one at home?
No, come on. That would make way too much sense.
Make your own brown sauce. Right?
Well,
oh my God.
Yeah, Taco Bell's, produced a lot of brown sauce.
I do remember there was that time in life, and it's the same thing one day with Domino's Pizza, where one day I looked up and I went, hey, this stuff costs the same as it did 26 years ago. Is that a good or a bad thing? I could never decide if it was good or bad, and I've decided it was probably bad. I think they were cutting some corners to keep those costs down low.
As long as it all passes through.
When I was a sophomore, we got an exchange student from Venezuela, and my brother and I took him to Taco Bell on day one because, of course, he'd want some of his own food.
So authentic.
And he looked at us like we were crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, what is this burrito? We're like, yeah, burrito, come on, hey.
Hey,
he's like, it's like Mexican food. And he's like, Mexico, huh? Like, but you're from Venezuela. What, are you telling me there's a difference?
Right?
Yeah, I wasn't the most cultured of high school kids.
Burritos.
And then, of course, we were really excited because our Venezuelan exchange student would clearly be a great soccer player. No, he played baseball. We're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But this is no good for us. We don't even have a baseball team.
I think it was one of the South American countries. We had the foreign exchange student, and we were excited because we thought we had a football kicker, because that's the soccer kickers being pulled into the NFL, that side kicking thing they were doing all of a sudden. We were very excited. He's like, I don't play soccer. We're like, what? Send him back and bring us another one.
Ridiculous. What's the point of having exchange students if they're not great athletes?
Damn straight.
Man.
It was a small school. We needed all the help we could get.
I went to a small school as well, and my assistant basketball coach my senior year had been a college basketball player, and then he played pro ball overseas.
Yeah.
In both South America and in Europe for a few years. So he came back. He retired. He was probably late 20s at the time. And he had these connections around different parts of the world. And so the year after I left, we always had exchange students at our school, and suddenly we had a guy from Uruguay and a guy from England. The Uruguayan just happened to be 6'10", and a member of the Uruguayan national junior team. And the kid from England was like 6'7", and a member of the English under-18 team.
Perfect. You guys were cherry picking.
It was the assistant coach, and honestly, he just was like, "What's the exchange student company we use?" And then sends off a couple of letters in the mail to a friend in Uruguay. Next thing you know, this kid named Alejandro shows up. I've always wanted to live in America and play basketball. It was like, wait. And here's the funny part: lived with my mom at my house. I was in college. My mom, empty nester, but worked at the school. And so I came home from school one day, and there was a 6'10" Uruguayan kid in my room. I'm like, what's happening here? But then I got to look at him on the court. He had the softest hands and just a great turnaround jumper. I was like, that's fine. I'll take the couch. This kid is special. Triple Espresso is performing. The show will be at the Plymouth Playhouse through Sunday. It's a great comedy. John Bush, one of the cast members of Triple Espresso, will be with us in studio. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, August the 15th. Good morning. I am joined in studio right now by Mr. John Bush. John, I'm just going to start at the beginning. You're going to have to hold my hand and explain all this to me. But Triple Espresso is a show I have a passing familiarity with. But you are one of the performers at Triple Espresso, which is at the Plymouth Playhouse, running through Sunday. Let's go back. This show's been up and running for years, off and on different places. Go back to the very beginning. How long has this show been in existence?
Since 1995 is pretty much what it was. And these three guys, a magician, a musician, and a comedian, physical comedian who did really cool street comedy and stuff, they got together and said, how do we take our actual acts and put a story around it and get to do our show?
Right.
And create, and also a clean show that anybody can bring anybody to. And they sat down and had breakfast and had pancakes, and they decided, okay, let's book it so we write it. So they booked it in a church, and so they would basically have to get it, force themselves to get it done.
Right.
And then the show became a hit at the Music Box Theater in downtown Minneapolis, and then also in San Diego. They realized, can we train another cast to do this show?
Great.
And they did. So a bunch of LA actors got to go down to San Diego, Horton Grand Theater, and do the show, and then I became probably the next person to be trained in to do the show and rehearse and got the show. And I've done it 3,500 times.
Oh, that's all?
Oh, dude, that's all.
3,500 times.
Yeah, and thankfully there was enough space between the last time, 2019, and now that it feels fresh. But one of the reasons why this show feels so fresh, even though you've done it that many times, is the audience is the fourth character.
Right.
So they're very involved in the show, and there's a lot of elements of improv because of that.
Oh, great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so you guys are at the Plymouth Playhouse. Yeah. It's you're running through Sunday, correct?
Yes, this is an extension that happened because it was going really, really well on the first 5 weeks. And then this is an extension, and if this goes well, we're going to extend one scene into next week. Just kidding.
Stretch it out.
Yeah, stretch it out.
Yeah, sure.
So if you come to the show, it's really inspired by very, very Steve Martin, very Spinal Tappy.
Okay.
It's like these three people who have it's set in the 1990s basically, and they're having a reunion of this comedy team that crashed badly in show business on the Mike Douglas show with a disaster on live television.
Right.
And in so doing, as we tell this story, it's really vaudevillian skit after vaudevillian skit.
Yeah.
So I do a monkey dance. I do shadow puppets. There's requests of 70 songs from our pianist. There's magic.
Right.
And bad magic and good magic.
Right.
So there it is.
That's an awful lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah.
90 minutes, one act, and the Plymouth Playhouse is in the. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's at the Ramada.
Yeah, the Ramada Hotel. It's in that same building, and right across from Broadway Pizza. You know where 494 and 55 are in Plymouth there?
Yes, sir.
As you approach a hotel, everybody, it's not going to seem like there's a theater there.
Okay,
but just get to the lobby and you're there.
3,500 shows. It is important to. Like you said, there is some there's improv, there's extemporaneous moments clearly, and the audience participation. But still, all that said, there's got to be days when you're just, at least before it starts, you're like, 3,413.
Oh, yeah.
What's going to make this one special?
I'm really lucky. I've had breaks from it, but there's one point, and then the thing that gets scary when you've done the show that many times, because there's nobody, like, you understand repetition probably on stage very much in touring, and it's like, there are times when you get up there and you're like, how are my hands? You're just your arms or your hands or your voice. You're doing the thing you're supposed to do, but then in your head you're thinking of something else.
Sure.
Or you're staring at a person in the front row with a giant head and going, "I really want to say right now, dude, you have a giant head."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then I break out in sweat, thinking my mouth is going to take over and call that guy giant head guy.
Oh yeah, no. Well, with music, there's a lot of moments. It's an old trope, but it's very true, which is especially for drummers, when you screw something up, the first thing you do is repeat it. Yes. So at least you can say, I meant to do that.
Totally.
Yeah, I was going for something. Yeah, that was intentional. I don't know how you handle screwing something up, but it sounds like there's a little bit of leeway within this show.
And fortunately, my character is a character that has malaprops and is always getting words wrong. So
nice.
It's really nice because the first week of this show, I was on stage and I was like, trying to just remember what was next, so I couldn't really sit in it and get in the pocket.
Right.
And, I had many times where I screwed up in the audience, it was like, because they think, that's what it does.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not exactly Shakespearean then. You're not trying to remember the Caliban speech from The Tempest or whatever.
No, not at all.
No.
Johnny, the shadow puppet aspect, how long did it take you to learn that, and where did you practice?
Oh, well, it's funny because I learned the shadow puppets are like anything, for instance, guitar or anything, probably drumming too, is the first thing that happens is your arms hurt and your hands hurt because you're trying too hard to make these shadows, which I learned in about 2 weeks. And then I went to New York and didn't do the show yet for like 6 months, and I'd be at the subway stop if there was a shadow, putting a rabbit on the wall, or I'd be
someone's head.
Somehow, yeah. And I've now gotten really good at them. Like in my own show, I have a drunken heckler guy that I created, and he can take a shot with a shot glass, and he says, "You're not very funny."
What?
Yeah. And then I go, calm down, dude. Then he gets quiet for a second. He goes, "I don't have any friends." So I have that. I have a new cat one I'm doing, and working on an elephant.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Triple espresso at the Plymouth Playhouse, featuring John Bush and his shadow puppets. So,
that's right.
You're from Des Moines.
I live in Des Moines. I'm an Edina cake eater.
Okay.
I have to admit, I did grow up in the Twin Cities here. And then comedy took me, stand-up comedy. I was in this comedy scene, and that's when I met Tony in the 1990s. And then I went to the Aspen Comedy Festival, and then I spent like the next 6 years in the New York comedy scene.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where, like right now I'm touring with my buddy Ben Bailey, and that's how I knew Ben Bailey from Cash Cab.
Okay.
He's a New York comedy scene, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the show brought me to Des Moines, Triple Espresso, where I met my wife, and a 6-week run turned into a year and 4 months. Met my wife, and I just said, I'm going to stay in Des Moines and
a 6-week run goes to
a year and 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice. Met my wife.
That's all the recommendation I need. When you're a 6-week run turning into a 7-week run is success.
Right.
Year and 4 months is a whole different animal.
Longest running show in Iowa theater history.
Yeah, so that'll work. Triple Espresso is at the Plymouth Playhouse. And how many shows? So you're just there through Sunday with the one scene going till Monday. How many shows a day are we doing?
So today there's a 2 o'clock and a 7:30.
Okay.
And then tomorrow night, Friday, there's the 7:30 show. Saturday back to 2 and 7:30.
Nice.
Sunday we close out with a 2 o'clock show. And
fair enough.
Yeah.
Vikings fan?
I'm a Vikings fan. Yeah.
Yeah. You hear about J.J. McCarthy?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, it stinks, but also it seems very Vikings.
Well, you know what? I got a lot of text messages yesterday. I used to do sports talk radio, and I still a lot of sports people, and there's all these, and everyone knows I'm here right away. It's like, oh, Jay, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And all I said was, everyone up here, this is just Wednesday for Vikings fans. This is like, oh, he's hurt. He's out for the year. Okay, so anyway, I was going to go get some hot dish going here for the. I mean, it was just like, man, if any fan base is built to handle this, I think.
I'm in a ride share yesterday, and J.J. McCarthy comes up. We start talking about the Vikings, and I said, "Yeah, terrible about his knee, right?" He goes, "I could have told you that was going to happen."
Of course,
Yeah, the question is, why wouldn't it happen?
Yes.
Right.
I saw him on draft night, and that knee looked a little wonky to me, truth be told. He's wearing those Stacey Adams, trying to fit in.
So do they go get
bizarre Morris time reference? I felt the need to drop it in there.
Who moves into the second spot now? I don't know. Is there a second spot?
He was number 2. Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's exactly. We were saying earlier, like, we're all paying close attention, so we can't remember who the other quarterbacks are. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. All right. So, John, thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you for having me.
Triple Espresso at the Plymouth Playhouse. Tickets still available. Oh, and let's see. If you enter KQ92 at checkout, you'll save $10.
Yeah.
Wow,
Sweet.
Isn't that nice?
That's awesome.
All right, well, sit tight because now it's time for us all to learn a little something. If you're not learning, are you really living?
Speak into the mic, bitch.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened on August 15th. 1975, Earl Weaver, manager of the Baltimore Orioles, was ejected from both games of a home doubleheader. Why go out with just one? And here's the best part of it. He was thrown out of the first game by umpire Ron Luciano, one of Earl Weaver's 90-plus ejections in his career. And then as they were exchanging the lineup cards for Game 2, before a single pitch had been thrown, ejected from that game as well. Come on, that's good living.
What happened on the lineup card?
Earl he was just testy. You know what I mean? He just didn't who knows? It was just, I love the idea of you're waiting for Game 2 and he gets thrown, like imagine the people at the stadium that day. What's Earl, again? Again?
You'd wager on that today, wouldn't you?
Oh, hell yeah, you would. That'd be fantastic.
Wasn't there that classic Bobby Valentine where they said they kicked him out of the game and he came back with a mustache?
Came back in a disguise thinking nobody would notice. Yeah, that was it. Atlanta Braves longtime manager Bobby Cox set the record for most ejections, and I knew their bullpen coach Ned Yost back in the 90s, and we were talking one day, and he said, "Well, when Bobby just decides he wants to get thrown out, he has one thing he goes to." I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, that's when he'll call the ump a horse's C word." I was like, "Oh, yeah, that'll do it." He goes, "Yeah, every time. It's immediate ejection." like, okay, good to know the inside scoop on what's going on in the dugouts.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.